Today I'm going to be getting inside this beehive right here so that I can do a split on this hive. I'm not sure what I'm going to find once I start getting in here, but I'm hoping that the bottom two yellow boxes have freshly laid eggs and brood down inside there, so I can split these two boxes and make a brand new hive off in the background on a new stand, and then this hive will continue and thrive and keep growing its population so that it can store up enough honey to survive through the winter. More often than not, this time of the year, that top box that I just set down is full of honey and nectar, and there shouldn't be any brood or any eggs in that very top box, so I'm just going to set it off to the side and pretend like it doesn't exist for now. I'll give you a little bit closer look here as I dig through this yellow box that's on the top of what remains of this hive. And I like to start with one of the second or third frames. I very rarely pull the very edge one. I find they're often too hard to get out, where the second frame is oftentimes way easier. You can see this frame here is pretty much nothing but honey and nectar. There's one spot on that plastic foundation that they never even drew out with any honeycomb. Moving on to this second frame, I'm going to pull it out, and there's a little patch of brood right in the middle. That's a really good sign. It lets me know that there's at least a queen in here laying eggs, and that there's brood that could hatch anytime within the next week. On the back side, there's a little bit more brood here. Let's take a look. I don't know if you can see down inside, there's some eggs. Usually right there in the center, if I tip it just right, you can see what looks like a tiny grain of rice. And all that I need in order to do this split is fresh eggs in both the top and that bottom box, so I can split these two and move one of these boxes to a new hive location. Now that I know this top box has fresh eggs in it, I'm going to take it off of this hive location, and I'm going to carry it to a new empty location right off here behind me. The process here is pretty simple for us, not so simple for the bees. The bees will choose one or two of those fresh eggs, sometimes more of the fresh eggs, and they'll use it to make a new queen. As the new queens form inside their cells, they're going to come out and emerge from their cells in about 16 days. If more than one queen emerges, they will fight till the death so that only one queen remains inside that hive. Once that one queen gains a little bit of strength, she'll fly off and she'll get mated, and then she'll return to that new hive location where she will spend the rest of her life pretty much as an egg factory, popping out eggs to help boost the population inside that hive. I'm running off the assumption that there is a queen in this bottom box. Whether or not there is not important as long as I have some fresh eggs also down here in the bottom box. I'm going to pull out a couple frames now, and we'll check and see if there's actually any fresh eggs. Maybe we'll get lucky and we'll even see the queen. This very first frame is, as usual, it's nothing but honey and nectar right now. Usually honey and nectar are stored in the top boxes, but they do put them along the sides of the hive boxes so that they have plenty of resources down below for food. Here's a frame that has a little bit of brood on it, and it has a lot of honey, nectar, and some very bright pollen. We haven't come up on the goldenrod season yet, so that is not from goldenrod. It's probably from all the clover I have planted out here. This is definitely a brood frame. There's a lot of kept over brood right here in the center of the frame, and there's a lot of eggs and larvae down inside there. Let's take a look at some larvae. You can see the larvae down inside those cells, hopefully. They just look like a slimy little grub down inside there. The worker bees cannot use a larva that's that old to make a new queen with. The worker bees need to start feeding the larva at a very young age the royal jelly that will help produce a new queen. There are plenty of resources inside this hive. We don't have to worry about whether or not there's going to be young viable eggs to make a new queen with. So I'm going to give this hive a little bit of smoke to encourage the bees to go down inside. I'm going to put the frames back in this hive in the order I took them out, so that I can get this hive another box, giving them more room to expand, and get this hive closed up so that I can move on to the next hive to do more splits. This has been a really calm, great hive to work with today. I expected really aggressive bees. It's almost 90 degrees out and it's extremely muggy. I'm very hot inside this bee suit. I'm definitely looking forward to getting out of the suit here and hopping in the pool as soon as I'm done to help cool off. And I did not know it until I put this hive back together, but something's wrong with that top box and it looks like some of the frames are falling apart. It looks like when I go to harvest honey later on this season, I'm going to have some repair work to do, and I'm going to have to re-nail or staple those frames back together. Now you can see off in the background, I have a new hive that should start forming with their hatched queen in about 16 days, increasing the number of hives I have here in my bee yard.